Hey everybody, just wanted to go live tonight. I'll be doing that every Sunday night at 8 p.m. just with some general updates, life updates, some advocacy and awareness updates, and just a tidbit of information about BPD and some of the criteria. One out of the 9 criteria I'll be talking about each week. So just some updates. Instead of starting my job tomorrow, I'm actually going to be starting next Monday, August 8th, and so I will be the computers were not ordered or weren't coming in time. So I will be starting next Monday, and I'm fine with that because I can go ahead and get a lot of things done this week before I get ready to start work. I'm continuing to help with the homeless on Thursday nights. This last week was another success. Blaze Pizza donated some 2 pizzas, and they're going to commit to doing that every week, so that's great. And I actually started driving around doing it, the donations, and it just didn't feel right. So what I did is I went ahead and I actually just parked the car, and then I walked around, and it was a much better experience for me. You know, I was able to talk to some people that I talked to before and donated to before, and then a few new people. So Sculpture Park, that was a great experience. There's you know, all the kind words and support, you know, and just generosity from the general public. You know, and the openness that they have about talking about BPD and mental illness was great, and that's what's going to keep me motivated to, you know, to keep going back once a month. So what I'm going to, oh, actually, one thing I wanted to talk about, my experience, one great experience down at the Sculpture Park, and it's a great story, but the individual, or there was a man and his probably a 10-year-old boy that had walked by, and the man looked at my sign and read the sign and then said, you know, keep up the good work, and he walked by with his son. And then he walked about 10 feet, and he stopped, and he talked to his boy, and his boy came up to the sign, came up to me and read the sign, and then his dad came up and explained to him exactly what I was doing out there. So his dad had said, you know what, son, this gentleman right here is raising awareness, and he's talking about mental health issues, and he said, you know, we should be able to talk about mental health issues just as the same as if we were talking about a physical ailment or condition, if somebody broke their ankle or if somebody had cancer or something like that. So it was a great thing to see that you know, this father was teaching his boy at age 10, you know, to open up, and I felt good that I was able to, I guess, inspire that conversation in a sense. So upcoming awareness-related projects that I have going on, I am going to use some of my plasma money. You know, I am donating plasma, which has been a lifesaver, and so I am going to use some of that money and go ahead and order some borderline personality cards. I guess some would call them business cards. But these are cards that I'll actually be handing out down at Sculpture Park, and even to the general public. If I feel comfortable with somebody, you know, I will go ahead and give them my cards so they can follow my story and the awareness and everything that's going on. So that's coming up. Some other things I'll be doing is hopefully developing some content for a potential website that I'm hoping in the next 1 to 2 months will be up and going. And also plan on marketing the Red Shoe Media video that they took down at Sculpture Park, and right now it's at actually almost at 10,000 views, which is awesome. But I know that Facebook, with the automated video play, those numbers aren't totally accurate. But still, I mean, it's very cool that we've had a ton of, they say online, maybe cut those views in half, and that's realistic. But even 5,000 views for that video is amazing. If you haven't shared the video that's on my page, I do ask that you go ahead and share that to your page and your network. You know, like I said, it's not me that wants the attention, it's the awareness in this disorder that desperately needs it. So the more people that watch the video, hopefully the more people will start talking. One thing I did want to talk about today is the DSM-5 under the first criteria under the DSM-5 for borderline personality disorder and what that means and kind of what that means to me and my experiences. The first criteria is actually frantic efforts to avoid real or imagined abandonment. And basically, you know, a lot of people have a deep paranoia. People with this disorder have a deep paranoia that their loved one or one that they care for will flat out leave them or abandon them. And many times this does stem from, you know, adolescence, some type of trauma in adolescence, divorce, death. You know, all these things play a factor, play a role in why people with this disorder many times feel like they are going to be abandoned, whether it be real or imagined. And oftentimes over the years, as life experiences happen, this abandonment issue actually becomes a lot stronger because, you know, they already had it. A lot of them had it since adolescence, but you know, many people will become abandoned and people will leave them, sometimes because of this disorder, sometimes not. Sometimes it has nothing to do with the disorder. But the fact is that abandonment issue may become stronger as they move further into adulthood. Many will do whatever they can in their power to keep the person in their lives, you know, do whatever it takes. And sometimes that does mean, unfortunately, for people with this disorder, it does mean, you know, there's some negativity, some bad things that happen for some people with this disorder, and that means manipulation, deceit. You know, it can mean, or just begging the person not to leave them. Sometimes it's justified, sometimes it's not, but others may actually self-sabotage the relationship by doing things, you know, that will cause the other person to leave because in their minds that other person's gonna end up leaving eventually. And this does get into the second part of or second criteria under the DSM-5 as well, but I think they're kind of interconnected in a way. So my experience, personal experience, you know, I have experienced the frantic efforts to avoid the abandonment, but many times, and I think most of the time, I just went ahead and abandoned people first. And if I were to leave and cut the person out of my life, then I would maintain some type of control in a sense and avoid any chance of having anyone walk away from me. So I got rid of them first before they would get rid of me. And I would do this, you know, most often when there's any type of personal conflict in my life. So I avoided it at all costs, and that impacted my personal relationships over the years. It was much easier just to walk away and not deal with the emotional trauma and unpleasant feelings or interactions or situations. So, and plus, many times I'd pin it on the other person. I would abandon them and pin it on them just to make myself feel better. So. And because of this, like I said, and along with other people, you know, the inability to maintain those personal relationships has, you know, been a huge issue for me over the years. It's something that I'm working on, and I think through my experiences this past month, especially this past month and the past 3 weeks or so, it's really going to help me out because, you know, people have stepped up and come up to you know, have showed up and supported me and shown love and kind words and pats on the back through all this. So, you know, I know today that I am important to a lot of people, and one of the things I have to continue to work on is to actually believe that, because my natural instinct is not to believe that and to feel like I don't deserve any of it. But so recognizing these things and working to build friendships and reconnect with people I've pushed away over the years is really a critical piece to my own recovery. So I'm just going to keep it as short as possible this week, but I just wanted to provide a little bit of education and a few updates, so that's it. But you know, thanks everybody for everything you've done for me. Without the donations and the GoFundMe and the continued love and support and kind words, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. But it is still day by day for me. I still have this disorder, you know. I mean, it is incurable. It is with me, but like I was reminded this past week, it can go into remission. And you know, looking at the 9 criteria right now, I technically would fit into that, but you know, I need a lot more time and stability to really say that I am in remission. So day by day, minute by minute, but things are coming together, and I just need to remember my motto is to stay calm, stay small, stay humble, and do the next right thing. So go Cubs. Have a good night.